The Jeep was definitely one of the best assets to the Allied war effort. The versatile vehicle allowed soldiers to cover large distances and travel over a range of difficult types of terrain. But getting this car into combat wasn't easy. Germany had already advanced in the areas of gyrocopters and helicopters, which allowed transport of vehicles into hard-to-reach places. So what if there was a combination of the two? Meet the Hafner Rotabuggy. This Jeep conversion would allow Allied soldiers to fly their transport straight into battle. But why wasn't it mass-produced? In today's video, we look at the Flying Car of World War II. If you enjoy this video and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. It's free and really helps the channel reach more history lovers like you. With the exception of amphibious landings or cross-country travel, the only way to bring transport vehicles into combat was by glider. The gliders were more than capable of transporting jeeps, but these gliders were difficult to maneuver into a small target area and often had hard landings, resulting in vehicles and equipment being damaged on impact. Prior to the war, an Austrian named Raoul Raffner moved to England and offered his services in their time of need. He had made significant advancements with gyrocopters and believed a car could be retrofitted with propellers to fly into a designated area. His idea had merit, as financially it was determined he could create 7 of these flying cars for the cost of one British Horseer glider. So in early 1942, the Rotabuggy project was born. Testing initially began with Jeeps dropped from various heights to test their structure and suspension. This testing determined the Jeep was more than adequate for the role, and the rest of the design was fitted around the shape of the vehicle. An extended windscreen connected to a large tail featuring a plate on either side was attached for directional stability. Finally, a rotor with 2 blades was mounted on top and driven by the vehicle's engine. A crew of 2 were required to fly the Rotabuggy, one in the driver's seat and one in the front passenger seat. The driver would drive the Jeep as normal along the runway until it was time for takeoff. Then the pilot in the passenger seat would engage the rotors and fly the vehicle in the air. After landing, the entire tail portion could be removed and the vehicle could be used in combat as normal. By late 1943, the vehicle was ready for towed testing. Initially, a truck was to be used, but deemed not powerful enough to pull the buggy, so a Bentley racing car was used. However, in this testing, the buggy was only able to be airborne for very short periods and almost hopped down the runway. Next, a British Whitley bomber was used to tow it, with the bomber staying on the ground. This was more successful, but showed the prototype to have heavy vibrations, and ultimately it damaged its rotors on landing. Delays then set in as new rotor blades were needed to be manufactured. It wouldn't be until September 1944 that the Rotabuggy would be able to take its first proper towed flight. Again, a Whitley bomber towed it along the runway until both the Whitley and the Rotabuggy were airborne, but again heavy vibrations were felt by the 2 crew members as the airspeed increased. The tail of the prototype was also very heavy, with a pilot not being able to level off. The Whitley had to reduce its speed to nearly stalling, but this still didn't fix the issue. Luckily, both landed safely, but this would be the first and last flight for the buggy. By this stage, the Allies were already in Europe, and gliders had more than proved themselves by bringing in transport for ground troops. The end of the war was in sight, so diverting time and resources into this project ultimately wasn't a good idea. The buggy would be taken apart and the Jeep used as a motor pool vehicle. A replica of the vehicle exists today, but the original is long gone. Although it wasn't a successful undertaking, it was still a very interesting design to see a flying car in World War II. Had you ever heard of the Rotabuggy before? What did you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to expand your knowledge and join the growing Premier History community.